Meeting is now called to order.
Roll call, Mackey,
Present.
Baxter. Here. McBreen, absent, Bassett. Here. Harper. Present. Thank you.
Move on to a presentation from Story County Supervisors for the ARPA check presentation.
Well, not sure how to do this with the owl here, but
Is that wall or
sure.
everybody?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna do them count three. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Smile nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yep. Is Greg Pickle up here? No. Moving on to public comments. Are there any public comments?
I'd like to bring up,
Let's state your name first.
my name is William Borcher, I live on South Street. I just want to bring up maybe for public comment or bring to awareness, maybe the allowance or city ordinance of chickens and other, wildlife of that nature. I know in the past, I've, kind of poked around, and looked at, Cambridge law and stuff like that. It was once allowed. I don't know the history of that. I know we a lot of times follow the Des Moines City Code. Des Moines has a completely written out code for it, distances, animal limits, regulations, everything like that. It would be very simple to follow something like that. I know I brought this up in Ankeny to no avail. They, most of the comments were just like, no, we're not gonna let them. We didn't allow any public comment, no discussion. And I think, with current events, past few years, we have large commercial farms, avian flu, all sorts of other problems with our supply chains, things like that. I think it's very beneficial for one. You can teach young people how to grow and raise their animals, where they come from. I think we can do it in a way that's beneficial for everybody and not infringing on anybody else's, freedoms or anything like that. I'm very wary when we take away something from a community, that we're actually doing it for a good reason, public protection, something like that. And with chickens or, with the city code in Des Moines allows a lot more things like ferrets and bunnies and stuff like that, which I have no opinion on. I'd like to have maybe some ducks and chickens or something, but they make it all in a group. If you have X amount of animals, this is what you have to follow. And they actually limit it to, you can only have 2 species. So you can't have a ferret, a duck, a chicken, 15 and different species. You can only have 2, and then within their allotted number. I don't know. There's a very comprehensive code written on it. I'd like to get a discussion and maybe bring it up to public comment, see what maybe questions, concerns that we could address, and maybe bring something like that back to the community. I don't, from what I've heard in the past, I haven't heard many negative, like, this is why, this is a good reason why, I mean. I think there's mostly benefits if it's, I actually was out in my front yard the other morning and I heard a chicken crow. I don't know if it was from outside, across the river, I have no, I can hear cows, I've had deer in my front yard, I looked out in the backyard, I have a privacy fence and it's mostly contained. I had a groundhog in my backyard the other day, I've had raccoons, possums, every single thing, and those are, I think chickens and ducks and stuff have been very minimally problem. Plus, another thing considered insects, they are a huge insect eater. They eat weeds. There's tons of benefits. So I just like to get the conversation going. See if that's something that we can get back into the city. I mean, if a city like Des Moines can, handle it, I don't see why any reason we would be able to.
Okay.
So that's kind of I didn't know if anybody that has been here when they were allowed or, had a, from the council comment or, public statement or anything.
I'll say this, I missed the deadline for this agenda,
Yeah,
but it'll be on the next one.
okay,
I moved into town with chickens. so
Yeah. yeah.
That's my goal to bring them back, so it will be on. the
I've
next
heard a
one.
lot of arguing or, people argue against them, but it's been very like, it's nothing that can't be cured by just following a regulation.
Yep.
If one person is a problem, take it out on the one, or not take it out on, but address that one issue. You don't just take it from everybody. Is what, I think the people that want to do it, I think will do it responsibly.
Yeah.
And take responsibility for, and they want to do it for good reasons too. I don't want commercial eggs. I want stuff. I buy them from instead, outside of town now. So, I think it'd be good.
Sure. All right. All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Are
Thank
there
you.
any other comments? All right. Moving on to the consent agenda. Entertaining motion.
Need a motion? All right, motion to approve items A through E on the consent agenda.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? Well, Betty roll call. Sorry, Betty roll call.
Mackey,
Aye.
Baxter,
Aye.
Green, absent, Bassett,
Aye.
Harper.
Aye.
Let's move to discussion. All right, moving on to departments, Dale, Water Roads, got anything?
Good apple curtains in.
Good.
Tim,
Running.
and running.
You got anything for,
You've got a handout for the Cambridge Cemetery and Park Short to long range planning. I'm not gonna insult anyone's intelligence, I won't give that word for word. But at the top with the cemetery, we've got turf management ongoing as a seasonal affair. We've got a individual hired to mow using All right, equipment. I don't know where we're at right now as far as feedback and. Don't have anybody yet, so we're still working on that. And everything else, there's pretty self-explanatory. I've got fireman's dates, but I noticed that it's later on in the agenda, and we'll talk about that then.
Thanks, Mike. On to the library, Lord. Anything?
Barb and I at the last meeting talked about doing a quarterly newsletter. And she put together one for the city and sent it to me last Wednesday, and then I put things in for the library. So we're talking about ways that we can promote our community that way. And have copies in the library and city hall, and also send it out to patrons, put it in the website, things like that, upcoming events and things that are going on. We have a great summer program starting for kids and programs for adults as well. And that was started in June. And we applied for a STEM grant for 6-story fun kits, and we've received it. So I will be going to some training on that in August. And then I will get those kits for our library.
All right, thank you. Is that all? Is that all you got? Good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Did not give me anything, just that we didn't get the one grant. And that's what one of them was gonna come and talk about, what to continue to apply for. We thought there'd be another one coming.
All right, moving on to communications.
Nothing, there's just a couple of questions on Barb's post that she made this morning. I can ask you about after the meeting. Just questions community members have had about the meters.
Oh. There.
Fire, I think Matt said everything's good for fire. Said
As far
everything's
as-
fine.
Yeah.
Joe, you got anything?
No, just working on the draft. We didn't get a complaint, but there was semis coming through.
There was a bunch of them.
Yeah. Every time I saw them, they were obeying the traffic laws. Stopping at stop signs, not speeding. So
For those dump trucks, by chance? Or is it just?
They're, they were a triple axis side. Yeah, side lots that were coming through, and I don't know if it's.
They were carrying line, a line.
That looked more like waste from the wastewater treatment at eight.
I thought it was lying. Like this.
That,
They need to get a.
that is what it is like. Violating laws.
Good. Two items here. We've got to set the date, since we're going to discussion now. Should have had these down here, but we need to set the date for the hearing on the amendments for the budget and the public hearing to vacate the alleyway. We have a day set up.
We're looking at May 22nd at 6:30. I have to have at least 10 days to have it published in the paper, which would give me to get it to the paper tomorrow.
Uh,
6:30.
That works for everybody. Should be both in the same.
What is that called?
What is it? May 22nd? It's a Monday again. At 6:30.
What was it, what we call that?
It's a public hearing. We have to have a public hearing to amend the fiscal year 23 budget and also, public hearing to vacate the alley. That went to planning and zoning, and planning and zoning have approved it. We referred it to planning and zoning.
You want that at 18:30?
Yes, please.
About an hour?
Or less, it all depends on how long it takes us, or if there's any other items that get
Maybe 30 minutes.
on there.
We'll probably need a motion to approve that. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. and just make sure we cover it.
Oh, do we need a motion?
Yeah, let's just do a motion.
Okay, move to approve the date for the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nice have it. Moving on to discussion items, the Opera House update, we just had a walkthrough today. Like a punch list, very close. Still needs a few things, but, I would say probably, we could start setting it up for sale next month. And get that ball rolling. Get rid of it. Is there any other discussion on the Opera House? Moving on to Fireman's Day.
Big portion of our agenda for last Thursday was dedicated towards Fireman's Days. I'm working on a spreadsheet here that's got our events identified, the sponsored event, the actual location of the activity associated with the event, and then the community point of contact. So, and the time that the event is occurring, we've got events for Friday, Saturday, and possibly a limited number of events on Sunday. My goal is to have this done in 8th period today. Fourth graders had a different opinion on what I need to finish my day.
Can you email that to city?
Yeah, once I get this done, I'll send it out to everybody.
Email it up here, and she'll send it out to everybody,
Okay.
if you can.
Is that the way we're supposed to?
Yeah, you're supposed to do it that
All
way.
right.
That's all right.
Are you gonna put together any type of flyer for social media, or I could do it Facebook event?
Yep,
I would say you can probably use whatever spreadsheet that you give us, kind of, then Barb would probably jazz it up a little bit for us to put on
yep.
the Facebook page or something.
So I'll do my best to have this done before you guys get it with the fall.
All right, is there any more discussion on Fireman's Day? Dale, can we blow a car up? I just want to throw that out. We'll kind of talk about it. Can we blow a car up? Can we? I mean, that'd be something they cover, then cut it up maybe afterwards. Can we cut it up?
Got a card.
All right. Moving on to appliance scrap metal event.
I'll call them tomorrow and get a date set, since the city garage sale is next weekend. Try to get it first week of June.
I've had a lot of people inquire.
And I know Bobby and I talked about, I'm gonna call around, maybe get a tire, try to get some other people than just scrap metal, so. I'll get on that tomorrow and let you know what date at least the scrap metal will be.
Is garage sale this Saturday?
Yeah.
Citywide this Saturday?
Yeah. And we are up to 14 houses for that one, so
On the garage sale?
on the city garage sale, so that's the most we've ever had. And then with the scrap event too, so we don't run into what we did last year, I'll try to get 2 dumpsters. So that they're not having to bring another one and then us load it later, so.
Put it at the same place?
Yes.
Is there any more discussion on appliance scrap metal? Moving on to the community center rental rates.
Did that.
See that, Barb had that, does anybody else have that, anything?
No, but she shared it with me just in passing and it looked pretty detailed, and pretty solid. It's just,
She,
it'll be a matter of just getting them here and having a share with us.
Okay. Moving on to code violation letters. I think that was kind of another, Barb and I were working on. Just springtime, everybody's cleaning up, everybody's starting to drag stuff out or need to move some stuff. Letters will be going out, it'll go out by a courtesy letter. Which then will, moved on from a letter from the city, and from there, it'd be a letter from the attorney. And then we'll move it or find it.
Myself and Barb and Michelle Winscott are going to the nuisance abatement workshop on Wednesday in Newton. So we follow up on all of that, make sure we're doing it correctly. Whitney, if you will post that the office will be closed on Wednesday for me
Next week.
this week.
open, oh,
Is there any more discussion on code violation letters? Are there any comments from mayor, council? Any comments?
Last day of school
So,
is
no.
Friday, 26
26.
May. Kids will be out in the boat.
Is it 11 or 11?
Fancy Island staff will be back in the first week of June to take care of some loose ends.
You know what time the dismissal time is that day?
Pretty sure it's 11:30. Why? I do not know.
I guess the roof on the Opera House they got beat up pretty bad and punched it through it, so. Yeah, hail, it's not worse, it's worse on the new section. So it'll be going on.
we have insurance.
Yeah, they looked at us last Thursday. They looked at us.
Sessions Dan has a little involved with those guys to have so. Exciting, it looks like somebody hit it with a machine gun. They're excited at that one second at the ball.
Just, it's white.
So I'm gonna visit with Matt, find out what kind of insurance they have. That kind of stuff, school property. I don't know how we do that. We'll figure it out.
Can't be much. It's a pretty small building.
Every time I drive by it.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Right.
All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, meeting's adjourned.